Welcome back to another review about the Successful Car Street feature line McQueen. Rev it up but don't crash. Try me push includes 2 exclusive rules. This design, how Line McQueen looks like, the product can be found by Mattel games. So that's why how this game is for ages 5+, 2 to 6 gamers. And that's why this game is for ages 5+. If you ever told us about what they learned about what other guess out that they have, like Means the Rise of Gru or Original Guess Out, that makes some gassy sounds. The fart jokes can tell you about what other half of those, because now this is a Line McQueen version. See it right there. It's just like the one that we had it for weeks. These are from Mattel Games bag. Press Line McQueen the number of times shown on the cards you play. Excitement builds with each push. Make him crash and you're out. Let's open it up. Oh, it makes some booming sounds. Did you know while opening the toy, that's why you ever see it. This can be found at any marketing stores, like Walmart or Target, but this box is so old, it's like 8 years old, from 2017. That was a long time ago. Here's instructions. Two instructions. Here's the English version, and here's the international version. I'm getting the cards out. Oh, it makes some booming sounds. Each card you can take turns by flipping this, and you could see the numbers. And when you press this, the cards will each take turns by. The cards will see the numbers on. The cards will each take turns by looking at those numbers. Still amazing. But each turn you can have also 2 players or 6 players at least. That's why you can also use a lot of players at each time. Now, there's also a lot of players that they never teaches about, because each player you can also choose one of those at least 6 times a day, because now other players are not supposed to take one of those at least 6 times a day, because you can only take a lot of friends to play with those toys. And that's why we ever told us about taking turns with those cards about at least a lot of times, because how do you ever take those cards for at least 10 times a day? Because why, if you ever take those cards and play the game with your friends, because that's how I imagine how we ever seen those cards before, at least 10 days before. I imagine how we ever told us about getting those cards for free. I imagine this is kind of like Uno, but I imagine this is what Uno looks like. I imagine how this much more of a deal when I opened it. But first, let me get Line McQueen out. That's 1. will not break the toy. That's 2. And hopefully we'll get the last one. Oh, it makes some sounds. That's 3. And it's free. Here's Slime McQueen out of the balls. Let's get the cards out. It's hard to open because these are sealed. Why they are sealed? Because they are harder to open. Because why they are not suspiciously to open. I'll keep it in the sealed. So each turn you can also play those games before they are easy to attach. As you open, there's batteries in there. Oh, you put cards in there. I can't open. I'll do it while I'll open. Hopefully we'll not break the cards. There we go. There's lots of cards, and you can take turns by choosing those cards. You can hear that rattling. You can choose one of those cards that you press in this, and each turn you can have those cards by placing those cards down here, and you can take turns by choosing this, and take turns by pressing this, and you can switch those cards by choosing those cards. But if you notice that cards are magically the numbers of those, that name was 5. You take turns with each of your friends and take turns with your cards and place them on the card. So there are lots of cards on there, but there's a card display. And there's a battery compartment. I can't open it. There we go. I'll put those cards in the card display. Well, that's what we expect for getting those gas out games at my local stores. That's what we expect having one of those as a kid. But now I expect to be your Surface. That's so amazing that how we ever seen those gas out games. Now there are a lot of them. How have you ever told us about how we never seen those games before? It's an electronic game. Some days are the best ones to have in your collection. Have you said that before? I bet it is. You can be your best games of the whole time world. Now there's a lot of those ways to pretend of those games. Remember how you play those games? I bet it is. As you see, there's a Cars 3 logo. It's been 8 years since Cars 3 came out. Is there any more? Nope, that's all of them. Can I imagine how Lightning McQueen does it? I bet it is. Now we can use to play this game nowadays. Have you played this game before? I bet it is. This is an electronic game that has all of those gassy sounds and funny laughing sounds. As you can see on the box, they show those kids playing those games. I thought so. There are lots of other games that they have for purchase, but so far is the best one. Can you imagine how we get other games at my local stores before there are nothing much more of a price of deal? How we ever seen this game before? Nice of that. How we ever get much more of a price than other toys that they have, like those other games, because like this game is for ages 5 and up, but this take a lot of times to play with these games like this before. My games are not harder than I thought it would be. Lightning McQueen does it. I bet someone you can recognize in the comments below, because we ever told us about how we ever played with these games, because we ever told us about how we ever need more of those games before we play it all other times. Lightning McQueen has to be famous about you. You promise you won't. Lightning McQueen has to be famous of you. Lightning McQueen has to be famous about you. You won't be recognized. You can play with your. You can't play with your Lightning McQueen fans before you ever told us about how you wanted to play other than yourself or my friends, or if you ever told us about how cars live with your radio experience. That's why I'm so embarrassed with how life can be miserable. So yeah, thanks for watching Cars. Gas Out, Cars 3 Lightning McQueen. Electronic game. Bye.